We've heard about Sambo, we've never seen it work. You know what I mean? Like if Islam gets a submission, that's a jiu-jitsu submission. If he gets a takedown, that's a judo takedown. If he shoots a double leg, that's a wrestling move. So for me, where's Sambo? Sambo's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Do you recognize this martial art? Or are you shocked to see two guys in a wrestling tunic, a short-sleeved GI top, shin guards, padded gloves, and headgear are doing what appears to be MMA on a wrestling mat? Well, this is Sambo, a martial art used by many fighters from a particular region to achieve success in MMA. Welcome to our in-depth exploration of Sambo, a combat sport that has been used by many fighters from a particular region to reach the highest of successes in the MMA world. Although it has observable origins in Japanese judo and Western boxing, there is also another root origin of this combat sport that may not be visible to the naked eye. However, it might just be the reason why Combat Sambo seems to be the combat art almost tailor-made to fighters from the Caucasus and Central Asia. We'll delve into how its grappling techniques emerged as a synthesis of judo and native folk wrestling styles, and how it incorporates different techniques to create an ultimate combat sport suited for MMA. Join us as we reveal why Sambo has become a secret weapon for champions in the world of MMA. The birth of Sambo, a Russian acronym for Samozashita bez oruzhia, or self-defense without weapons, was created in the early 1920s in the Soviet Union. The pioneers of Sambo were Viktor Spiridonov and Vasily Oshchepkov. Oshchepkov spent several years living in Japan and training in judo under its founder Kano Jigoro. Oshchepkov died in prison as a result of the Great Purge after being accused of being a Japanese spy. Spiridonov and Oshchepkov independently developed two different styles, which eventually cross-pollinated and became what is known as Sambo. Compared to Oshchepkov's system, called free wrestling, in Russia, known in the West as catch-can wrestling or simply catch wrestling, Spiridonov's style was softer and less brutal. It was also less strength-dependent, which in large part was due to injuries Spiridonov sustained during World War I, while its striking component is predominantly borrowed from Western European combat sports such as English boxing and French savate. Its grappling origins are where we see this hidden element. Grappling genesis, the heart of Sambo, lies in its grappling techniques. Although undoubtedly the basis of its grappling techniques come from Japanese jujutsu and judo, Spiridonov, being a meticulous student of the combat game, decided to add a unique twist. He traveled throughout the entire Soviet Union and studied the techniques of the indigenous Turkic, Caucasian, Iranic, and Mongolic ethnicities residing in the Soviet Union. As a result, he incorporated techniques from such grappling arts as Turkic Kuresh, which has slightly different terms across different Turkic ethnicities, Tajik Gushtan wrestling, Georgian Chidoba, Armenian Kok, Buryat Buki Barildan, Buryats being a Mongolic ethnicity residing around Lake Baikal in Russia, and Moldovan Trint. One of the features of these styles is their prohibition of leg takedowns and the focus being on wrestling from the belt area and up, and using balance, trips, leg hooks, and hips to throw your opponent to the ground. You can see it even to this day, as many fighters from the Caucasus and Central Asia, through their Sambo knowledge, use these techniques to generate great balance, throw their opponents using trips and hip throws, and finally hook. There is even a term called Dagestani handcuffs used when someone uses their legs to control their opponent's hips on the ground. This is Sambo in its perfect form, as it combines a native indigenous grappling style's philosophy of using your legs to hook your legs' opponents. However, infused with judo and jujutsu technique, it allows the fighter to use those leg hooks on the ground instead of only standing up, as they would in the traditional indigenous form of grappling. Japanese influence to create an effective martial art, the pioneers of Sambo turned to judo, a Japanese martial art. They recognized the efficiency and adaptability of judo's groundwork techniques, which included throws and pins. Since Sambo was developed as a self-defense martial art that paid the most attention to finishing the fight as quickly as possible, Sambo was enamored with judo's throws, as these throws were meant to occur on a concrete pavement or a tough dirt road, so the throws themselves could have possibly been fight enders. The submissions stemming from judo were also seen as highly effective ways to neutralize your opponent. Jujutsu's techniques were mainly added for the situations when you're on the ground with your opponent. However, these techniques were also modified according to Sambo's philosophy. Therefore, a mount or full guard from the top position with the ability to rain down punches was preferred over a position of being on the bottom and searching for submissions, as Sambo was heavily adjusting to the fact that in a real-life situation you will be struck while on the ground if you give your opponent the chance to do so. This is why Sambo guys seem to sometimes outperform BJJ guys in MMA. They do not like being on the bottom and don't mind just sitting in the full guard and inflicting strikes. The fusion of judo and jujutsu with the native wrestling styles of the region led to a unique and highly effective grappling system. The striking component Sambo is not just about grappling, it also incorporates striking techniques. As striking techniques amongst the indigenous nations living in the Soviet Union were somewhat simple and rudimentary, English boxing and French savate were introduced as foundations for striking techniques in Sambo. Savate was picked with the idea of kicking someone with your shoes or boots while in a life or death situation. Consistent with the philosophy of Sambo, these strikes were carefully selected for damage and efficiency. Long-range flashy karate and taekwondo kicks were not present in Sambo's genesis. Instead, short effective kicks to the thighs, ribs, and stomach were preferred to close in on your opponent and either finishing the fight with punches in the close range or taking the fight to the ground and finishing it there. This is why many MMA fighters whose striking comes solely from combat sambo such as Khabib and Islam seem to have a simple and boring striking style. However, it can be argued that their striking is rather efficient and is only meant to either hurt the opponent or to close the distance and take the fight to the ground and finish it there. That is a stark contrast to some strikers with a background in karate, taekwondo, and American kickboxing who can sometimes fall into the point fighting from the range due to their habits and a lack of confidence in their grappling skills. Fighters from the Caucasus and Central Asia have harnessed the power of Sambo's techniques to achieve greatness on the international stage, making a mark in prestigious MMA leagues such as the UFC, Bellator, and ONE FC. Champions such as Khabib Nurmagomedov, Oleg Taktarov, Vadim Nemkov, Usman Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, Fyodor Emelianenko, and serious contenders such as Shavkat Rakhmonov, Merab Dvalishvili all have an extensive base of combat sambo, and they all similarly achieve their success by using Sambo's philosophy of either finishing the fight as quickly as possible or by blending striking and grappling efficiently to completely negate their opponent and their weapons. In conclusion, Sambo, born from the fusion of judo, native folk wrestling, and Western striking techniques, has proven to be a formidable martial art. Among fighters from the Caucasus and Central Asia, it has found a perfect home, tailored to their strengths and traditions. This synergy has led to the rise of Sambo as a secret weapon for the MMA fighters from CIS to use to achieve championship-level success. It is at a stage where if Thailand is synonymous with Muay Thai, BJJ with Brazil, and freestyle wrestling with USA, then Sambo has become synonymous with the vast Eurasian region covering the former Soviet Union. And thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the origins and effectiveness of Sambo, a martial art deeply rooted in the rugged landscapes of the Caucasus, Central Asia, Mongolia, and Eastern Europe. Like, share, and subscribe to Bratha I Translate MMA.